Welcome to the Rockabye Revenue Podcast with me, Abby Watson. I'm a mum of 4 and a business strategist, and I train people to become hypnobirthing teachers. In the last decade, I've built a thriving baby business that grew beyond my wildest dreams. This podcast is for you if you run a business or dream of running a business in the birth and baby industry. You want to change lives whilst making more money. I'm talking about creating sustainable income whilst being present for the people that matter most. I believe for our baby businesses to have the impact we desire, we must be rewarded. On this podcast, expect me to share actionable strategies without the jargon. I've been where you are. I've built a business while raising 4 little ones, and now I'm here to help you turn your passion into profit while creating the life you've always dreamed of. So let's get started. Lovely one. Have you ever noticed that every single person you see out there, every business owner, seems to be launching an online course? They've perhaps turned what they usually offer into some kind of pre-recorded package that they are now going to sell. And sometimes it makes us think, oh my gosh, that must be where all the success is. I must do that too. Have you ever thought that? Have you ever wondered, should I be creating an online course? Now, I absolutely think that pre-recorded online courses can be fabulous for your business. But there's a side that not enough people talk about. There's a side to launching one and selling one that actually could have a negative implication on your business. And this is all really about why you're doing it. Why are you doing it? So if we're thinking about you as a business owner and what you offer, so perhaps you offer services to clients or classes, and maybe they're in person or maybe they're online, but they're very much interactively delivered. You're there, even if you're not in the same room, you're there virtually, and there's that kind of connection and you're going through it. And the alternative to that is basically packaging all that up in a pre-recorded course and thinking, my gosh, I'd only have to record it once and then I could continue to sell that over and over again. Now, there's lots of people that have been extremely successful in doing that. And there are people that regret it. There are people that have not had the success they expected. And there are also people that have said, well, whilst I do earn from this now, I actually miss how things were before. So we're having a bit of a serious chat today. This chat is to help you really think about your future plans in your business. Are they what you really want, or is it what you think you should be doing? And have you thought about other ways of getting to where you want to go? So let's take a hypnobirthing teacher. They might think, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be fantastic to have passive income? So I could record a full hypnobirthing course. Maybe I'd have to spend a few days filming, a few days editing, and then it's done. And I get to sell this repeatedly to clients. It's like money for free, right? I get it. It sounds so appealing, doesn't it? Yeah. And maybe we look around in the industry and we can see some really successful online courses. And basically the founder is not having to deliver those services. Now, the first question you want to ask yourself is, do I actually want that? Do I actually want to be running a business where my work isn't really the delivery? Because I tell you something, for so many business owners, it's the client delivery side of things that they love the most. It's the being in a room or speaking over a screen, that connection that they love the most. What would it feel like if that wasn't part of your business anymore? And passive income, as it's often referred to, because you've recorded it once and it's there to sell many, many times, isn't always as passive as people think. you've still got to sell the course. And this time, you're selling it perhaps with some features that just can't be part of it anymore. It can't be bespoke. It can't have that human connection element. So therefore, instead of your job being to deliver services, your role within your business very much becomes about selling and marketing. And that isn't for everyone. Now, if you are thinking of creating an online course or an online class, what you might want to think about is, what impact might this have on my other services? And this is something that I don't think enough people think about. So let's take someone who is a sleep consultant. They offer a program where they work with family one-on-one, and let's say it costs £500. Okay. And currently, that's where they get the most of their money coming in. Okay, working with clients one-on-one. So now they're creating their online sleep course, and it's basically going to include everything that would be included if they were working one-on-one, except it wouldn't have that personal guidance. And they put a price tag on it, and maybe it's like a fifth of the price. Okay. Wouldn't it be fabulous to be selling tens of those a month? But the reality is, unless you've got a huge audience and a huge pool of potential clients, people are going to be choosing, The people that find you and fall in love with how wonderful you are and see what a great transformation you offer, now are not just going to be like, oh gosh, yeah, can we do the one-to-one? They've got to make a decision between this online course that's a fifth of the price or the one-on-one service. So what some people find is, when they create an online version of their kind of in-person thing, they find that whilst they are selling their online courses, they very rarely sell their higher ticket thing, the thing that brings them in more money. So one of the undesirable consequences is they can actually be earning less, yet having to focus more on marketing, and are not actually focusing very much on delivery. Now, please hear me when I say this is not me saying don't do it. If this is something you want to do, I want you to think about all these things that we've talked about and think about how you would navigate that. Because you absolutely can have a great deal of success with a pre-recorded course, but it's thinking about maybe any consequences and how you would navigate that. Now, I have certainly heard some people deciding to do an online course because they are struggling to find people for their interactive versions of their services. They're in person or online live services. So they're like, right, it's an online course I need to be creating. They're assuming that their lack of bookings is to do with it being in a format that people don't want, rather than thinking, actually, is that the real reason? Or is it that actually I need to improve my marketing? I need to really focus on my messaging and how I communicate what I offer. Think back to last week's episode where we spoke about this very thing. Selling clients what they want, really thinking about what do they want, rather than talking so much about what they need, when you can deliver that need when they actually do take the plunge. So if it's more of a marketing problem, changing the format to be a pre-recorded course is highly unlikely to solve that problem. If anything, it's going to make it worse. Because again, we're selling it maybe with less features. Those people that fall in love with you and what you do maybe want a bigger piece of you than a pre-recorded course can ever deliver. So they go elsewhere, So it's thinking about, why am I doing it? And is this going to be the outcome that I need? Now, there's some blooming great reasons to create an online course. Great reasons might be that you're going to be out of action for a bit of time. Maybe you're going on maternity leave. Maybe something's gone on in your life and you're like, I'm not going to be able to do the client delivery side. An online course, fabulous. You know, maybe it is that you've got a huge audience and you cannot keep up with demand. People are asking you to fit you in on your course and you just can't. Your diary's full, your group courses are full. Blooming great time to do a pre-recorded course. Or maybe it's that you want to really focus on a real niche, you know, a real niche in your industry, and you think, actually, if I am going to go with a worldwide audience to make sure there's enough of this niche for me to get at, I'm going to need to focus more on my marketing. Therefore, the delivery side needs to be already done. So there's lots of reasons why it could be a great idea, but it's thinking about how you could navigate some of the challenges that could come your way. Now, in terms of thinking about, is this right for me? It's not always a yes or no answer. Like, what you might think is, okay, I really do want to do an online course, but I don't want it to be a replacement of what I do one-on-one. Or I don't want it to be ultimately very similar to my group courses. Instead, it's going to be something slightly different, but utilising my skills still. And it means if people have loved that online course, they've got something to invest in further. So a great way to do this is, say, a hypnobirthing teacher. You know, it could be something like a pregnancy relaxation digital course. It could be an early pregnancy guide that's an online course. You know, really thinking about something that is not your full thing, but it's definitely worth their investment. They're going to want it, they're going to need it, but yet it's not going to impact negatively on your sales of your bigger offerings, your higher ticket. I've said higher ticket before, I'll say it again. This is what we're talking about here. Like, your more bespoke offerings will be more costly. They're getting more of you. And so many businesses get a large chunk of their revenue from those higher ticket things, like a full one-on-one hypnobirthing course. Yeah? That's when they might get so much of their monthly revenue. We don't want to take away from that. So this was a bit of a quickie today, but it's something that's been definitely weighing on me recently as I see more and more business owners jump in to creating digital courses, maybe not thinking about the bigger picture. Is it a digital course you really need, or is it something else? And if you are going to do it, what way are you going to do it to make sure that it is really successful? So as always, love to know if you found episodes useful. So do come over to my Instagram at loveyourbirth_training, and I shall chat to you over there. I shall see you next time for another episode of Rockabye Revenue. Keep on changing lives. Bye. Thank you for listening to Rockabye Revenue. I hope this episode has left you with some fresh ideas and bundles of motivation. If you enjoyed this episode, do make sure you click subscribe so you never miss an installment. And if you found this episode useful, I'd love you forever if you leave a 5-star review, helping this podcast reach the ears of more of the helpers in this world. And remember, keep changing lives. See you next time.